Kaduna State has been facing the menace of insecurity over the years, especially the incessant kidnapping of citizens by bandits. The latest happened earlier this week when bandits killed a middle-aged man and abducted several others in the Chikun local government area. This unfortunate incident caused outrage amongst residents of the community as they trooped out in their numbers to block the Abuja-Kaduna expressway. We have details for you in this intro package. Take a listen.
Resident of Gora in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State on Thursday barricaded the Kaduna-Abuja expressway, protesting the abduction of unspecified number of people in the area. The residents in their numbers stormed the highway protesting and urging the government to respond adequately to the incessant attacks by bandits in the area, which they now refer to as a daily occurrence. According to eyewitness, kidnappers on Wednesday night through the early hours of Thursday had attacked the community, kidnapping unspecified numbers of the residents. An incident that forced residents to troop out to protest to what they described as the audacity of the hoodlums in attacking the area. While reacting to the incident, the state government, however, warned residents against taking the law into their hands by blocking roads and harassing innocent Nigerians. The Commissioner of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, explained that security operatives in the state are working tirelessly to curb the unfortunate incident. In recent years, Kaduna State has seen a surge in kidnapping activities for ransom. The frequent occurrences of this situation in the last few years has put the country and Kaduna State on red alert. This has remained a major source of concern for the federal government. For communities along the Kaduna-Abuja highway especially, kidnappers have left them breathless, without signs that it's coming to an end anytime.
Femi Aratokunle, security expert, joins from London, and also Bala Abdullahi, security expert, joins from Kaduna State. Thank you so much for your time, Femi. I'm sure that at some point into the program, Bala Abdullahi will join in. Once again, thank you for joining the program, Femi.
Thanks for having me. Good evening, and good evening, Nigerians.
Good evening. Really very unfortunate happenings along the Kaduna-Abuja Expressway. Now, according to reports, it had it that the hoodlums operated uninterrupted for over 4 hours without any security operatives present or at site. Now, what could have been the reason for this?
Two things could be the reason for it. And if we should quite frankly, this is very important. We have to go by what Kaduna State stands. Kaduna State is a state, the major security institution in the country. However, problem that Kaduna State, with the government, with agencies and apparatus that we have in they are actually not bring all these maintenance situations. So it's sad, it's a disgrace, and it's not looking good for the government, especially when, based on what the president said yesterday, that people should not go out to protest. In this case, they have no choice than just to sit down and put themselves together and protest to the government, to the security.
The president,
you know what, we can't continue to have this at the moment.
Just to correct slightly what you said, the president actually never said people shouldn't go out to protest. Even though in a speech in Lagos State, he did
No. Let me correct you there. Okay. When we say do not protest, he said 10 months to his government or 9 months to his government, people are protesting over hardship. This is part of the hardship we're talking about. So they've got the right to protest. So even at that, if he's not talking about security, part of the hardship is security. How can we have a sitting government, a governor, we have military, we have almost everybody in Kaduna State, and for 4 hours, come on. Do you know how long will it take 4 hours to be 4 hours? And not a single security officer was found or can be seen. Not even a chopper, not even an helicopter or anything at all. So the question is, Where is the budget for security, for providing safety for others? There is none. So this is why I'm saying that they've got the right to go out and protest. If insecurity is the challenge, then let us look for a way out of, putting an end to all this. We need to look for a way out. We can't go on this way year in, year out, every month, every day. We keep saying the same thing and we're not achieving any result. It's not really the best and it's not looking good on the government.
I mean, talking about 4 hours, the hoodlums having their way. I mean, one would argue that Kaduna is actually a vast area bordered by 8 states. Would you say that the reason could be, and we know that many times when these attacks happen, right, it's usually in the hinterlands, areas where they know that maybe there is little or no security presence, or it will take a while, before any security intervention can happen. I mean, if you've been in certain states in the north, you can be within the state and, be on top speed and still travel for hours. So would you also want to say that that could have been a contributing factor, the topography and maybe the vastness of the area too?
You see, thank you for the question you just asked me. And I think it requires a very good and a very holistic answer. The answer to that is simple. A whole lot of risk assessment must have been carried out to know exactly where are the hotspot and where are the weak points that hoodlums or criminals can actually take place within those areas we're talking about. I could remember when I went to Borno State, I could see how vast, just like what you mentioned, the land mass and everything has always been, not only in Borno State, but in many other places in the north. It's the same thing all over the whole country. So that is not the problem. The point I'm trying to make is this. A lot can actually be done. We have technology that can actually do so much to support whatever the military or the security or the police are doing. But the question is this, do we have all these apparatus or this system in place to check and to support anything they are doing? The answer to that is still unknown, not only to me. The answer is still yet to be answered to the member of the public, to the residents, and to those living within this area. You don't want anybody to shout. You don't want anybody to do unnecessary things. But hey, give them the support they need. Ask them, how can they be part of the system to bring justice to all these? We're not saying the military are not doing their best. We're not saying the police are not doing their best. But is their best good enough for the system at the moment? This is why you see a lot of them are actually advocating for state policing, local policing, and all the rest. Give them the right tools, give them the right support, and let us see if it will work or not.
I mean, we'll get to the conversation. We'll get to the conversation of state police and also private citizens having the rights to bear arms. March.
I'm not saying private citizens should bear arms. We'll
get to that.
All I'm saying we'll get to
that. We'll get to that.
All I'm saying is the awareness.
Okay, the awareness, great. But we would even get to that particular conversation. But we also understand that this isn't the first time that, we've seen attacks, particularly, along that's Kaduna, Abuja road. The question now is this. What isn't the security operatives there? What are they not getting right? Or what's the government not doing right? Or is it a deliberate... can one say it's pretty much deliberate to turn a blind eye to the security yearnings of the people, the residents there?
Thank you for the question you just asked me. 3 things can actually be done in certain areas like this that would definitely bring a whole lot to mitigate threats. Number 1, we need to start speaking to the rulers, to the chiefs around there. The youth must be spoken to as well. Then the commissioners, the local government chairman, the market women, the farmers, everybody has got to play a part. We cannot just rely only or solely on the military and the police. Everybody must play a part in making sure that things just work. Just like as I've said before, I'm not advocating for anybody to bear arms, but all I'm saying is this: when you give them the right security awareness program, when you give them the right security training program that they should have, at least in a basic way, things might probably work well. If you give them the understanding of how to, give surveillance to their area, to their community, things might start to work well. Once we start having unmanned drones, hovering around the sky area, some territorial area around there, despite the vast area, things might start to look different. Kaduna can do it. Nigeria can do it. We are so brilliant, so nothing is stopping us from doing the right thing. The only thing stopping us is we ourselves, stopping ourselves from doing the right thing. And the consequence of this is this: we're going to be having victims, and we'll still come back to the studio and be talking about it. Analyzing security issue is not the problem, but solving it and bringing it down is the key thing that we need to start looking into.
I mean, sometimes analysis also plays a pivotal role in actually, solving the problem, because part of it involves trying to understand the root cause, and then from there you work your way up. That brings me to...
Can I ask you a simple question?
Please do.
How many times have we both, me and you, done so much analysis on security situation in Nigeria in your studio? What? How many analyses have been done by other security consultants all over the country in different TV studios? Is the government listening? Is the administration listening? The question is this: are they actually doing the right thing? Are they putting what we're saying together and, putting it into practice? Do they have the right set of people to actually put things out and get it done? Do they have the right
if you also look at the efforts,
that's the key things we should be talking about.
If you also look at the efforts, frankly, of particularly the current administration in ensuring the security of lives and property, you would want to say, okay, maybe to some extent, the intentions are pretty clear. In terms of the votes, in terms of funding and resources, and also the personnel in charge. We've seen efforts, being put in that particular direction to ensure that issues of kidnapping, issues of attacks, issues of banditry, are pretty much nipped in the bud. And we've also seen cases where it's even attacked from the grassroots. Where am I getting at? We also understand that many of these guys or many of these insurgents evolve. Now, I'll give you a practical example. I remember during my years, youth service years, I served in Jos. And I served at a very critical time when the crisis was full-blown. So the insurgents at some point would attack on a Friday. And then when they realized that people were very aware and prepared on Friday, they shifted to weekdays, like on a Monday, when people were going to work. And then when they saw people were awake and ready, they started attacking very early in the morning. And then when they saw that people were always on guard 24/7, they moved to the hinterland. My question is this: many of these guys, many of these insurgents usually up their game. So my question to you is, do you think the security apparatus has enough intel or resources to match up with this, terrible people?
You see, that's a very good question, and I love your analysis based on the fact that you were there, you saw things yourself, and you can see the dynamics of their movement, their modus of operandi, and a whole lot of things. But all I'm letting you understand is this: yes, our security system, our security operators, our security officers, our leaders who are leading in these security departments can actually do more, and even do more than all this. But the question is this: do they really have the budget? How well are they being supported? We're not talking about supporting them at the upper level, but supporting them within the grassroots. Because where all these issues are at the grassroots area, what kind of support are they actually getting around there? Me and you, let me tell you one thing for a fact. I can tell you, most of all these police stations you see around in Nigeria are not well equipped. So how do you want them to respond to incidents like this? Most of all these military barracks you see, they are not well equipped. So how do you want them to respond to issues like this? Most of all these Air Force men you mentioned are not fully well equipped. They can probably be equipped when the president wants to move around. You will see everywhere will be well guarded. But when it comes to the normal citizen, the story is a different ballgame entirely. So this is the problem we are facing in Nigeria. We do not need the eye service. All we need is this: do the business as usual, do the business as normal business, do the business. Number one president is the same thing as the number one citizen or any other citizen. Protect lives and save properties. That is exactly what the point we're trying to make over here. But sadly, that is not what we're saying. Are you telling me that if Buhari or if Babangida or if Tinubu himself is in that community at that period, do you think anything will happen there? Hell no, nothing will surely happen. So why do we allow things to happen? Because certain people are not there. We're just living by, playing like a Russian roulette game with number of people, with community members. It's not meant to be so. People are people. They should be protected. If we really believe in one Nigeria, a lot has got to be done in protecting the citizens. But we're not saying that. We're not supporting them enough. That is why we see kidnappers, or criminals, or all these hoodlums taking advantage of what is not done. That is why we see a lot of things happening today.
So you're saying that the security forces or the security apparatus, is not robustly supported. That's why, hence, some of these attacks happen. Is that what you're saying?
Let me say it once again. The answer to that is a capital yes. YES. They are not robustly supported because I am a security consultant. I do come to Nigeria to deliver security training program, not only for private security personnel, both police, civil defense, and all the rest. So I know what I'm talking about. I am saying it not because of any intel. I have seen it times without numbers.
Can you be specific in the areas of support? I know you mentioned around intel and all of that. What other areas? Let's break it down. For instance, there's remuneration.
Okay, fine.
There's remuneration. There is tools of work like guns and all of that. So, I mean, can you give us specifics, areas for support?
Okay, the specifics I want to give you. Number one, let us look at the kind of protective gears they wear. Are you trying to tell me the protective gears are good enough to withstand the current threat we have in the country? The answer to that is no. Ask me again. Most of all these security operators we send around to deliver all this hard work, when was the last time they actually trained, apart from their training in the military school or police college? When was the last time they went for any hardcore training program? What is their insurance, life insurance talking about? What is their welfare package talking about? What is their salaries, their wages talking about? These are issues that will probably make them to want to work or make them not to work. So these are issues we are talking about. Let us talk about their police stations as well. How well equipped is their police station? Is their police station up to what is the UN standard, or what should be a normal same standard, what a normal office should look like? Do you think we have it? No, we don't have all this. So what's going to make them want to work? Absolutely nothing. Even some security officers, some military men don't even have boots to wear. They're wearing rain boots and stuff like that. So come on, man. We have a lot to do. The government is putting the budget there, but are we seeing the budget flow directly to where it's actually meant to go? The answer to that again is no. N-O, capital N-O. So we have ourselves to blame. We should do an audit. You should equally do more like underground investigation to now see what exactly is wrong, why is all this actually happening, and why things are not done the right way that things should be done. I'm not saying the military are not ready to work. I'm not saying the police are not ready to work, but do we provide them the adequate care, the adequate materials needed, the adequate funding needed to the grassroots? Some are even wearing trainers to war. Some are wearing trainers to hostile environment area when they are meant to be wearing protective boots. So we have a lot to talk about here, but how do we go about it? We cannot start criticizing the military, but we need to just say the truth and let the truth be well said. They are not well funded. They are not well taken care of. I'm not talking about the high-ranking officers. I'm talking about the lower cadre officers who are actually doing all these dirty jobs to make sure that the country is safe.
I'm looking right now at of course, budgetary allocations, of course, dated as at December 31st, about 30, that's a 3 trillion naira for security sector as the budgetary allocation. But my question to you is this. There is also the issue of not just the availability or the allocation of these funds, but the utilization. I don't know if you're following me, sir. So we've had cases.
I am following everything you're saying. Yeah.
So we've had cases where yes, these monies have been allocated, but then accountability as to the utilization of these funds is also another issue being raised. Why am I going to this? You talked about adequate support. Do you think, even within the hierarchy of many of this security architecture, do you think there is some sort of accountability mechanism to ensure that if there is procurement of, say, maybe bulletproof vests, there are quality bulletproof vests that are delivered, that are up to standard, that can actually stop bullets? Is there any mechanism to ensure that, for instance, if they are meant to get certain allowances, it's being monitored to ensure that soldier A gets that allowance, police B gets that allowance, another officer C gets his allowance as and when due? My question is, do we have that accountability in place to ensure that these resources are used for what they are meant to be used for?
You see, thank you for the question just raised, and thank you for directing the question straight to me. It's a straight bullet, and I'm not going to say you're probably, driving around. You actually targeted me, and you want me to hit back, which I will do. And the straight answer to that is this. There has never been a single accountability within the security sector to actually, perhaps maybe probe any security officer in certain departments. For example, the armory department. How do we even know the number of bullets we have? How do we know the number of AK-47 or the sidearms we have? How do we know the number of bulletproof vests that we have? What level of bulletproof vests do we actually have to combat some certain crime in some certain areas? How have we been able to take risk analysis to know this is the type of bulletproof vest that should be used in certain region or certain areas? Do they all need vests, or do they not need vests? What's the number of personnel that should be deployed to certain areas? All these are proper auditing and accountability that should be given account to, but sadly, we do not have all these mechanisms, as you've mentioned, in place. This is why a lot seems to have been stalled, and sadly, it might remain this way if the discipline is not fully there. If the hardcore protective gears are not really there, it is not going to work. The question again is this: most of all these security officers working tirelessly for us, do they actually have more like holidays at all? To let them know, okay, you know what, you guys should go and have a rest. Let's have another deployment in here again. The question to that is this: do we have all this? We don't. We probably allow them just to be there for as long as they want, and if anything should happen,
okay.
So be it, that should probably be rest in peace, which I don't want for my colleagues, because I am equally a security officer here in UK, and I'm equally doing my best to make sure that I support my country as much as I can in whatever level I can as well.
Okay.
It is not just for the government to do, but it's for everybody to put hands together and work it out.
Okay, I'm sorry, but we need to go on a quick break. When we return, of course, we will continue with the conversation. Stay with us. If you're just joining us, this is Secure the Continent on News Central Television, and we've been looking at the incessant kidnappings in Kaduna State. And of course, the very unfortunate recent incident that happened along the Kaduna-Abuja road. We still have on the show Femi Aratokunle, security expert, joining from London. Well, Femi, thank you for hanging on.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, before we continue our conversation, let's watch this particular video making the rounds on social media. It's not for News Central. It's actually making the rounds on social media that got a lot of people reacting. Take a listen.
They give us military base or they legalize gun because we can shoot the gun. They don't have 2 heads. They don't have 3 heads. We are ready for fight. If Kaduna State government cannot protect us, if Nigeria cannot protect us, we can protect ourselves. We are not living here until the governor comes. That is my submission. My name is King Silim Dubisi, and I'm White Lion. That is my name. I am not scared of anybody. This is our land. Golingora is our area. We are not scared of anybody. We are not scared of anybody. We want them tomorrow. They should come tomorrow. We are waiting for them. This night they can come.
I mean, on the screen you just saw there, you know, an individual, I mean, the alleged video has it that residents of Goningora, you know, are protesting against the recent kidnappings and attack by insurgents and insisting that they want the intervention of the government. They raised quite a number of issues there. They said they would want a security base there, or they be given the right to carry arms and protect themselves, that they are tired and they want intervention from the government. I would like to go to you, Femi. I believe you heard what the man said in that video. He talked about, for me, two issues. They want, you know, a stationary security presence there, and he also talked about, you know, self-defense, being given the right to bear arms to protect themselves. I would like to start off with stationing security presence there. Do you think that Nigeria itself has enough security personnel? I'm not talking of resources right now, personnel to ensure the safety of lives and property of Nigerians.
Thank you for the question just raised right now. And I feel for the residents in Gonigora area in Kaduna and what they're actually passing through at the moment, because we really don't want to understand the trauma that they are going through or that they've passed through when the whole attack happened. However, allowing them to carry arms or bear arms, to me, is a no-no, because we will end up, you know, turning everywhere to a state of anarchy or a place of anarchy, if you know what I'm talking about here.
Okay, yes,
Nevertheless.
Okay. Please continue.
Yeah, but nevertheless, what I'm trying to let all Nigerians understand is this. The government is not doing enough. If our are not doing enough, such weird statements will be coming out because we into our hands. That's fine. But hey, what is the operators doing? What is the chairman of what is the governor doing that is yet to probably visit the place? Or why can't they, based on the threats we have all over the northeast area, by now there should be a security station around there? The white man or the white lion man that spoke was actually right, asking for them to have more like a security station around there. They have the right to have it. And equally, they have the right to perhaps maybe, you know, form something called the local vigilantes, and again, be well funded, be well recognized, so that they can equally protect and, you know, give support to the security operators that we have in Nigeria today. This is why somehow a lot of states, a lot of people, many Nigerians are equally clamoring for what we see today, or what we hear today, or what we call today the state police. I think it's high time we should start looking into all this now.
I mean, so you, if I got you correctly, you're saying that, of course, the idea of self-defense might not be the way to go. What alternatives are there?
I'm not saying the idea of self-defense might not be the right way to go. All I'm saying is this: publicly telling them to bear arms is not the right thing to do. But once we talk about self-defense, just like I mentioned during my first submission, I said security awareness. This is where security awareness now comes in, so that they know what to do. Security awareness doesn't mean they should carry arms. Security awareness doesn't mean they should be given weapons to use to kill. However, they need to have some certain degrees of apparatus that would definitely make them to be aware of their surroundings, and equally allow this government or allow the security.
I'm sorry to cut in here. Quite a number of them. If it comes to intel or being aware of the security situation, you know, and their surroundings, many of these locals are very much aware. You might even be shocked to know that they have more intel even than security personnel, because they are closer. They are the ones that are, you know, hit the hardest.
They have all these.
So what they are saying right now is they want to take it a step higher, right? Work collaboratively this time around, and not just intel, but also, you know, on the battlefield. This is still Secure the Continent on News Central Television, and we are talking about the kidnapping and, of course, insecurity in Kaduna State, with reference to the recent attack along the Kaduna-Abuja road, where residents of Goningora are actually protesting this particular attack. Maybe just for a refresher, let's play back a video that has been, making the rounds on social media. What the residents, are requesting for and their reaction to what happened in that area.
Because we can shoot the gun. They don't have 2 heads. They don't have 3 heads. We are ready for fight. If Kaduna State government cannot protect us, if Nigeria cannot protect us, we can protect ourselves. We are not living here until the governor comes. That is my submission. My name is King Silim Dubisi, and I'm White Lion. That is my name. I am not scared of anybody. This is our land. Goningora is our area. We are not scared of anybody. We are not scared of anybody. We want them tomorrow. They should come tomorrow. We are waiting for them. This night they can come. We are waiting for them.
I mean, there you have it. And of course, to make sense of this, we still have with us on the program Femi, who is a security expert and consultant and has been trying to help us dissect this very unfortunate event that happened in Kaduna State. Now, Femi, I will still stay on the issue of self-protection, that's self-defense. Let me take you back to a lawmaker in Nigeria representing Delta North Senatorial District, that's Ned Woku, who recently pushed an amendment bill allowing civilian firearm ownership. In his words, an amendment bill allowing civilian firearm ownership must be introduced in the Senate. My bill on self-defense and firearms ownership regulation, currently listed in the Senate awaiting its first reading, deals with this pressing issue. Now, this is in response to the security situation in the country. You also talked about state police. So my question to you is this: even though I know that you have reservations, as regards self-protection and private citizens bearing firearms, what other alternatives are there? And for state policing, how do you think the government can best go about this, that at the end of the day it becomes efficient and they are not tools in the hands of state governors?
For this very question asked. And let me start from analyzing it from what the senator said. I'm not trying to perhaps undermine the senator's statements, but I just want to ask the senator a simple question, and I want him, if he's listening to me, to make a whole judgment towards it. His own security team, his own senatorial security team, how well trained are they? How well equipped are they? Let us start from there. So before you start, throwing A and B and C and D to the government, to the House, that they should pass this bill, they should pass that bill. Within your own local government, within your own self, within your own close protection team, how well trained are they? Has he ever sat down with them and asked them, security officers, when was the last time you actually went on training? Because when we keep talking about the issue of state policing, I can assure you, because I've been actually asked on national TV so many times, will it work? And I said, yes, it will work on one condition. And the condition is this: if they are ready to do things the right way, it will work. But if they just probably want to use it to siphon money, it will end up in a very bad way that we will end up regretting and asking ourselves, why did we put ourselves in this situation? So my question is this: people that wants to make the law should actually look straight in themselves and ask, do we actually have the right protection, or are we just working on manpower? Yes, we have the manpower, but do we have the strategies? We don't have it. Yes, we have the manpower. Do we have the right equipment? We don't have it. Yes, we have the manpower. Do we have the right knowledge to actually design state police? No, we do not. Why? Because we end up calling the retired generals, the retired police officers to come and do a whole lot of things for us. At the end of the day, they're going to bring back to the system, to the society, the same thing they learned in the 60s and in the 70s. That is exactly what we're going to be seeing playing a part in the state policing. So to me, I don't think it's a good idea for us right now to put it up if we're not ready for it. But if we're truly ready for it, then let us do things the right way.
All right, Femi Aratokunle, security consultant and expert. Once again, thank you for your time and thank you for joining the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. And of course, it's at this point we draw the curtains on the show. Before I leave, I'd like to state that irrespective of the giant strides a government might put in place or achieve during its tenure to ensure that there is progress and prosperity, if security is not there, it all amounts to zero. What am I saying? Security is priority. My name is Dakwa Adegboye. Bye for now.